So now we're in Act 2 Scene 2. This is one of the most famous scenes in all of Shakespeare. Definitely one of the best scenes in all of Shakespeare. Like greatest hits, probably top 10. Scene 2, enter Lady Macbeth.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark!
So, that which has made them drunk has made me bold. So, in a way, that's like a paradox. It made them drunk, but it made me bold. She's talking about alcohol. What has quenched them hath given me fire. So, quench, like quench your thirst, quench to put out. It put them out, but it gave me fire. So, it put them out, but it made me more of what I am. Hark. Hark means listen. Oh, they hear something. What? What the heck was that?
Peace. It was the owl that shrieked. The fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it.
So it was just an owl. The fatal bellman does not important to us. She says he is about it. Now, one of the things we've seen with Lady Macbeth is that she never says the reality of what they're doing. She never says murder, kill, assassinate. He is about it. That's super vague. And I don't think she's trying to be political here in case someone overhears. I think here she's actually trying to make things sound really nicer than they really are. It's euphemism. She's trying to hide the terribleness of what they're doing. Let's continue.
The doors are open and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I've drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them whether they live or die.
So yeah, the drunk grooms, the drunk men, I drugged their possets. I drugged their what I gave them to drink. So it's not really their fault. They had a little bit to drink, but they were really like I gave them drugs. And then from within, so that's like kind of off stage, but you can hear. You hear Macbeth say,
Alack! I'm afraid they have awaked and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark!
I'm afraid they have awaked, meaning the groomsmen, the grooms, the guards, maybe Duncan, maybe his sons. I'm afraid they've awakened, 'tis not done. It's the attempt and not the deed that confounded us. So it's not the murder, it's the attempting the murder that ruined them. That's what she's saying. Hark. Hark is listen again.
I laid their daggers ready, he could not miss him. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it.
Whoa. A whole bunch of things here. I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss him. I put the daggers right there. He couldn't miss him. He couldn't. How could he miss him? And now she talks about King Duncan. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I'd had done it. Well, I would have done it myself if he hadn't resembled my father. Now, I think that's a cop-out, but let's assume she's being accurate. She's being truthful. She couldn't kill someone that looked like her own father as he slept. Okay, sure, but I don't think that. I think she got there with the daggers and she's like, oh crap, I can't do this. I can't stab this innocent man. That's not me. She's hiding from the action. And we see enter Macbeth with bloody daggers. Daggers covered in blood. Now I'm going to do the next line right now because it's super important. You see she says, my husband. There is a way of analyzing literature, or really any text. I don't know what it's called, but it's a way of thinking about literature in which you can look at the amount of words, the amount of certain kinds of words, where they're placed, to figure out things about the characters. So, for example, there's a famous author, Agatha Christie, who, towards the end of her writing career, she had Alzheimer's. She developed Alzheimer's. So she couldn't really remember. And by taking all of her books and running them in a computer, they could actually tell when she first got it, when her memory was starting to go, because she used different words, she used different sentence structures, her writing was different, and they could just do that by surveying the words used, the order of the words used, the percentage of the words used. And you know what that book was called? An Elephant Never Forgets. So she knew what was kind of happening to her, and her writing had changed. So there's a way of looking at literature where you look at the words and their frequency and where they're placed and what does that mean. Enter Macbeth with bloody daggers. She sees him entering with bloody daggers. She says, "My husband?" This is the only time in the entire play she calls him husband. Husband is equal. We're in this partnership. When is the only time she's going to give him that term of endearment? After he murdered for her. Now you're equal to me. Now you're in a real relationship with me. The only time she'll ever call him husband, after he murders for her. Let's continue.
My husband?
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I have done the deed. Again, he's hiding the terribleness of what he's done. Did thou not hear a noise? Did you hear something? They're paranoid. They just murdered the king.
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did you not speak?
What?
Was that you? No, they're just really paranoid.
No.
As I descended.
Aye.
Who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bain.
Ah, this is a sorry sight.
So Donald Bain, he's been on screen a few times. I don't know if he said anything. He's the king's second son. So you have the king, then Malcolm is the first son, and Donald Bain is the second son. So who's in the second chamber? Like, who's in that adjoining room? Donald Bain.
Foolish thought to see a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh and sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and Amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear. I could not say Amen when they did say God bless us.
Okay, whole bunch of things here. So he's kind of ranting, like in the adjoining chambers and the rooms next door. One cried in his sleep, "Murder!" and the other woke up and stood, and he heard him. And then, oh no, the king's sons are in the same room together. One cried, "God bless us," and the other cried, "Amen." As they had seen me with these hangman's hands, my hands like a hangman, the hands of a murderer. Amen. When they said God, and then okay, so is he actually hearing them? Did the king's sons like wake up in their sleep and like, what's going on? Amen. God bless us. Murder. No, he's hallucinating this. He's being hyper paranoid. But he did try to say Amen, and he couldn't when he thought he heard them say God bless us. But we'll get more into that in a few lines.
Not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce Amen? I had most need of blessing, and Amen stuck in my throat.
Wherefore, that means why, of course. Why could I not pronounce Amen? So he tried to say Amen. He couldn't say it. It was stuck in his throat. That cliche. I couldn't say it. I just couldn't say it. Probably because he's done something so terrible. It's impossible for him to say something moral or holy.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
This is very important. I want us to just think about these lines and remember them. These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad. Don't think about the things we've done this way. It will make us mad. Crazy.
Thought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep, the innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the ravelled sleeve of care. The death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher and life's feast.
Alright, I thought, it seems to me, I heard a voice cry, sleep no more, Macbeth does murder sleep. I heard something say, sleep no more, Macbeth does murder sleep. And then he talks about all the sleep things sleep will do, innocent sleep, the death of each life, each day, the end of each day. Now this is actually going to be true. He will not be able to sleep because only the innocent can sleep, and he is not innocent. So sleep no more, Macbeth has murder sleep. That's in his head. Maybe the same way as the dagger. But let's continue.
You mean? Still it cried, sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Porter shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
And again, he's ranting. Macbeth shall sleep no more. Glamis hath murdered sleep. I have murdered sleep. So that kind of means two things. I murdered him in his sleep, but also I murdered sleep for me. I will sleep no more, because only the innocent can sleep soundly.
Was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you to unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things.
You unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. You unbend your noble strength. Your strength is strong. You unbend it. When you think about stuff like this, you look weak and pathetic right now.
Go, get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
And then she's saying, go wash your hands, and she looks at his hands, and he's still holding the daggers. You idiot, why'd you bring the daggers here? They must lie there. They must lie in the room. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood. So take your bloody hands and rub them all over the guards, the chambermaids. And then he says,
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again, I dare not.
Look on it again, I dare not. I dare not look on it again. There's a syntax there. I'm afraid to think what I have done. No, I did it. I saw it once. I won't see it again. I'm afraid to see it again. I cannot go back. Now, remember, we've talked about a potential reading of this play. There's a lot of comments from Lady Macbeth about perhaps the way Macbeth performs in bed, in intimate settings. Look at that next line there. Infirm of purpose. You are infirm of purpose. Your purpose is not firm. Maybe she's not just talking about like his courage here, but she could be hinting at other things. But let's continue.
Firm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of child that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Okay. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. Yeah, the dead sleeping, they're pictures. They don't move. It's to be like a child to be afraid of this. Then she says something really weird. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal. I'll paint. Gild is paint. I'll paint the faces, for it must seem their guilt. It must seem like they're guilty. But when she says, if he do bleed, which gives us the feeling, wait, you don't know what happens when you stab someone? Why is Macbeth covered in blood? Maybe she doesn't understand these things. She's never been around battlefields or whatever. So, you stab someone, there's a lot of blood? Who would have thunk it? So maybe the terribleness of Lady Macbeth comes not from experience, but a misunderstanding of reality. And then she leaves. And some of my favorite lines of the whole play, maybe my favorite in total, are right here. They're beautiful, and they're powerful, and they're sad, and they're horrific. And I'll let them play, and then we'll talk.
Whence is that knocking? How is't with me when every noise appalls me? Oh, what hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
Okay. Whence is that knocking? So they hear some knocking. Whence is that knocking? From where is that knocking? Where's it coming from? How is it where every noise appalls me? So yeah, I'm paranoid. What hands are here? So he looks at his bloody hands. Ha! They pluck out mine eyes. So the taking out of someone's eyes is a thing very rare and very powerful in literature. You have Oedipus, I think Samson from the Bible. So like the taking out of someone's eyes is an extreme punishment. So he's like, I'm almost worthy of that, to pluck out my own eyes, to take out my own eyes. Well, and then these next 4 lines are just amazing. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? You know, Neptune is just the Roman name of Poseidon. Will his ocean, all the water on earth, will it wash this blood clean from my hands? Can I clean it with all the water in the world? No. This, my hand, will rather the multitudinous sea incarnadine, making the green one red. No. This, the oceans of the world, my hand will rather... Oh, sorry. This, my hand will the multitudinous seas, all the water in the earth, incarnadine. You don't know that word. If you know a little bit of word roots. Carn is like meat, which can mean red. This will make all the seas of the world red, making the green one red. I cannot clean my hands with all of the water in the world. My hands are so bloody, because the sin is so great, that they will actually stain all of the oceans of the earth. He understands how terrible a thing it is that he's done this. Not just that he's his kin, and not just that he's under his protection, but that he's the king. And to kill a king is something terrible, at least in Shakespeare's day. He admits how terrible and wrong and evil he is for doing this. He knows he's the bad guy. Let's continue.
My hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear...
So this here, my hands are of your color. My hands are blood red like you too, but I shame to wear a heart so white. But I am ashamed that my heart is white, that my heart is pure. My heart is not colored with blood from the murder. So she's saying, oh, well, I wish I had done it. I had done the murdering. Excuse me, lady? Like 5 minutes ago, you said, oh, if only he didn't look like my dad, I would have done it. What about now? Okay, let's continue.
Looking at the south entry, retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then?
Retire we to our chamber, there's syntax. So let's go to our chamber, our bedroom. A little water clears us of this deed. Wash your hands and no one will know that you did it.
Your constancy had left you unattended. Oh, hark.
Your inconstancy has left you unattended. You're not in control of yourself.
More nothing. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
So let's get on our nightgown pajamas. So when we wake up, because someone's knocking, we'll be watchers. It's like, oh, we woke up from sleep. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts. Don't be lost in your thoughts. Like you're not a good liar.
Know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking, I would thou couldst.
So that's kind of a joke there. There's more knocking. Wake Duncan with thy knocking, with your knocking, I would thou couldst. Yeah, I wish you could wake him up. I wish I had not done this. And then he says, to know my deed, or right before that, to know my deed, 'twere not best to know myself. Yeah, I wish I didn't know who I was. I wish I didn't understand me. Because I understand the terribleness of this. And that's Act 2.